All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So, welcome to webinar week. I kick off webinar week by doing just a short promo. What I want to do is I want to give you guys some insight on how I got to this particular point as an educator. But I always get excited for webinar week because I kind of pour out pretty much all the stuff that I've learned off of experience and off of trading for the last decade. And I get really excited. It takes a lot of energy out of me because I have to do it over a 3 day period, over 10 hours. And if you include today, you're talking about 12, 13 hours worth of content. And I'm going to teach you guys stocks on the first day. On the second day, I'm going to teach you guys the options market, which is the ultimate trading tool. And then on that Thursday, I'm going to teach you guys how to day trade. Day trading isn't for everyone, it's for people that want to generate income daily. But I'm just waiting for a couple of more people to join. But, like again, I love webinar week. If you're watching this and you haven't joined the Inside of Trading Room, go ahead and do that if you can. And let me go ahead and let me get this presentation started. All right. So, welcome to Webinar Week. Everyone knows me by Joel Harrison, but everybody doesn't know what I had to go through to get to this point. And it's always important to me that when you decide to get educated, when you decide to take on a coach, when you decide to take that plunge and pay people to educate you on the market, what we're not doing is we're not really vetting the people that we're giving that money to. And the stock market, unfortunately, is a place where a lot of people can make a lot of money really fast, but a lot of people are doing it through the education side. So what ends up happening is, people are taking, these 10,000, $20,000 courses, and they're leaving feeling empty because they didn't get the information that they needed. And more than likely, the people that you're learning from haven't put in the work to form the foundation and to create the strategies that can actually get you guys to the levels that you guys strive for, those goals that you set for yourself. So I like to set myself apart from everyone because y'all hear me rant a lot. Y'all hear me go on and on about, this person and that person, but a lot of people don't understand where that actually comes from. Why do I feel the need to always talk? Because I am an educator. I do consultations constantly, and my consultations involve me talking with you sharing your story, sharing your experiences, and letting me know what your goals are. And because I've been in the market, I've experienced the market, I've made lots of money in the market, I can guide you, I think, the correct way. And unfortunately, in this particular game, in this marketplace, especially through the technical side, since we are the pioneers of investing and trading, a lot of people are being led astray, getting frustrated, still feeling like the stock market is a casino. And I always coin this term that investing is not an option anymore. It's essential. It's essential into creating wealth. So let me share my life story. And it started. See if I can get this. Take me off of the screen. All right, but it started in Decatur, Georgia, and I am a full-time day trader. I'm a full-time day trader. I'm an expert in stocks, options, futures, and cryptocurrency. All right, and I have over 10 years and over 25,000 hours of experience. And anything that I talk about, especially during my webinar weeks, is are the opinions of Joel Harrison. Now, at the end of the session, I am going to do a charts with Joel, or I'm going to do an ask the trader. So you can ask me anything you want in the comment section. Just give me, some time. Like I said, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then towards the end, I'll try to analyze some of you guys' stocks. I'll kind of show you some of the stuff that you will learn if you take the 3 day webinar that's coming up on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But I have been in this game for over 10 years, and I always tell people you don't really become an expert in anything until you have over 10,000 hours of trading experience. And with that experience and with all the years of putting in all that effort into the market, my family finally reached millionaire status. So, when you're learning from me, you're actually learning from a millionaire. And I was having this conversation with my wife the other day, and I said, it's still it's still uncomfortable for me to even say, we're millionaires, right? I'm looking at her in her eyes, and she's looking at me because my whole life I've worked very, very hard to get to the point that I am right now. And I never thought that it would feel this way. It's almost like, turning 40. I never thought that I would feel this good at 40, right? I just thought it would be a different feeling. And it's the same way when you reach that millionaire status. But what I try to tell most people is this isn't the first time that, my family has been, millionaires, right? So I'm going to tell you guys the true Hollywood story on how I got to where I am today. And of course, it started at Southwest DeKalb High School. I'm from Decatur, Georgia, and I love to say it every time we do a webinar. I'm like, I'm from Decatur, where it's greater. I love my city. I love my town, but you know, some people are like, well, Joel, you don't get any street cred because you're from Decatur, Georgia. I'm like, I don't get any street cred, right? And that's because I tell people all the time when I was growing up, I actually believe seriously that we literally lived in Wakanda, right? All around me were the first engineers and doctors and lawyers of people's family. My best friend, his father was a corporate lawyer for Coca-Cola. I have other friends where their fathers were like the VPs at Chick-fil-A. We knew people down the street that owned McDonald's franchises. My neighbor across the street from me were doctors. My neighbor to my left, they worked at GM. So, my parents, my dad worked for Delta Airlines. My mom worked for the Internal Revenue Service. So I was always around productive corporate individuals that were forming great foundations in their family, right? And I learned a lot, from the different people that are around me. So, unfortunately, maybe I don't have that street cred, but but believe me, if you try to if you come to Decatur, you try to break into my home, right? We got shooters in our house, so I don't have to have the street cred to protect my family. But I am from Decatur, Georgia. I'm proud to say it. And my foundation started with my first job. The first job I ever got was a job as a lifeguard at the YMCA, right? That was my first job at the South DeKalb YMCA. I didn't really work at the restaurants or the clothing department stores like a lot of my friends, were working as their first jobs. But I was lucky enough to at least know how to swim. In our neighborhood, we actually had a pool, and I learned how to swim at a later age. But as I started, to learn how to swim, like again, I had my first job at the YMCA. And by having that job and being around water and having a pool in my community, naturally, I was able to join the swim team. So my foundation has always been water. It's always been around, I guess, my people. And, and that's always been my foundation. There's a lot of famous people in this picture, by the way, right? We had probably we've made the news so many years, right? We had probably the biggest African American swim team in the nation, and we were a powerhouse. Like nobody could beat us. We had records that were set that nobody could break for like over 10 years. And I went off to school and came back, and our records still weren't broken, right? And that formed my foundation, right? I played football. I was always into sports, but I gravitated towards swimming, and swimming gave me that foundation. And with that foundation, I actually got pretty good. And this particular meet was one of the greatest moments of my life, right? Because we kind of went down in history for becoming an all black relay that was able to win 2 gold medals at, a state event. And I'm always proud of that because it was the team. There was always this thing. Black people can't make money, black people can't swim, black people can't invest, right? So I've always been trying to prove people wrong that, if you put hard work into things and if you're around the right people, anything can happen. So I took my talents out to Howard University, and which is in Washington D.C. And while I was at Howard University in DC, most people don't know this about me, but I have brains and brawn. But I was a dual swimming and engineering scholarship. I had a dual swimming and engineering scholarship to attend Howard University. So not only did I have money coming in from the swimming side, but also academically. My parents really instilled in me and my brother to do well in school, and I took that foundation and all the things that I've learned as I was growing up to school. So I ended up I ended up graduating with a BS, a Bachelor of Science. And just like most people, I didn't use that degree, after I graduated. The first job that I tried to get was a job at like Ecolab, and they told me that I didn't have the experience, that maybe I needed to go become a doctor, or I needed to go to graduate school to get the kind of position that I wanted. So I was frustrated, just like most people, graduating from college, not being able to get hired. Going through, growing up and having the pressure to excel, and then going to college where you're coming out of college and you can't even get a job. It can be I don't know, it can be kind of stressful on the black man, right? So I had lots of odd jobs. My first foundational job was a supervisor at Winkler Pool Management in DC and in Virginia. And that was the first time that I ever had a 401k. I was on salary. I had a 401k. I just bought my first new car. I was establishing credit for myself. And I also had other odd jobs. I had other hustles. Everybody knows that I was an urban model. So I was a spokesmodel for cyber tech, and that was kind of funny. It gave me a little bit of fame on the East Coast. Anytime I went to any historically black college and was part of the fashion circuit, I was pretty well known. And at that particular time, black models were becoming very, very popular, and I was right there in the mix of everything. But after working at Winkler and have making decent money, and I was doing actually really, really well as a model, I really didn't have that foundation that I wanted. I didn't really have that passion, to make money. I knew that I could make money, but it was just hustles that I was doing just to be able to pay for my car, right? So I decided, I was gonna go back home, and become a real estate agent. And a lot of people say that they say this all the time, like, Joe, how did you go from being a lifeguard and supervising and saving lives to real estate agent? Like, where did this come from? Like, this is just like out of the blue. And I tell people all the time that when I was growing up, the way that me and my father bonded was, he he was a funny guy. He worked really, really hard. He was one of those guys that had like 3 jobs. His main job was Delta Airlines. So most of the time you saw him in this light blue shirt and these blue pants. uh but the way that we bonded, especially during the summertime, is that we would drive around all of Atlanta, and all we did was look at real estate, and we looked at cars. That's all we did. We looked at real estate and we looked at cars, and that's how we bonded. And he drove me all the way out to Buckhead or Swanee, and he showed me how big these homes are. And he always told me that, if I put my mind to it and if I understood the value of real estate and the value of cars, I will be able to own anything that I want. And he used to always tell me that. He would always say, if you walk through this home and you feel like this home is yours, you will have something like this, when you get older. And back in the day, to have a 3,000 square foot house or a 4,000 square foot house was like having a mansion. So, when we would walk through these 5 and 6,000 square foot homes, I believed it, but I really didn't believe it. But what I didn't realize that my father was doing was he was teaching me the value of things. He was teaching me the value of things, the value of houses in different areas, right? Why are houses that are 4,000 square feet in Buckhead more expensive than the homes that are in Decatur or in the city, right? Why are these older type homes in higher demand than these brand new homes, right? And I was learning that. And I was also learning the same thing through new cars versus exotic cars. So I was learning the value of things, and that formed that foundation that I needed in the stock market. And I had no idea that I was ever going to be in the stock market, but I really, really, I really, really did take to real estate. But while I was in real estate school, I met my wife in real estate school, right? I wasn't wealthy, but I was on the path of forming that foundation. And I believe that's something that she saw in me, that she respected. She respected my grind. She respected the hustle and everything that I had to do to get to the point that I am right now. And I was confident about doing it, and I was knowledgeable about doing it. When I went off to real estate school, not only was I in real estate school, but I was a loan officer. I went to appraisal school. I did home inspections. I did everything that was related to real estate, because if I wanted to be the best real estate agent out there, I wanted to know all aspects of the real estate game, not just one part of it. And a lot of that grind, a lot of that hustle, a lot of the hours that I spent in forming a foundation in the real estate market, I carried over into the stock market. So this picture that you guys are seeing right here, how many people can say that they have a snapshot of the actual day that they met their significant other? I didn't even know this woman for 15 minutes. Now that also tells you how much game I had, right? Within 15 minutes, she's taking a picture with me, right? So it must have been the aquarium blue that I had on. But I thought she was gorgeous. I thought she was smart, and I just wanted to know a lot about her. And I mean, very, very quickly we got married. All right, well, probably within a year or two, and we got married in Montego Bay. And because we had the same values and we had the same energy, we started having kids immediately. But this is our first home, right? Before I created a real estate empire, well, small real estate empire, it had to start with one. Now, here's what's interesting. When I met Dr. Nzinga Harrison, she had already owned this house out in Latonia, Georgia. And during that time, I was putting a contract on a condo that was in the city. And, she was living in this home. And, once we got married, this was the home that we lived in, our home out in, I think it was off of Browns Mill Ferry Road. But we quickly started to have kids. We only have two, Zaire and Nasir. They're actually taller than me now. Always been a Falcons fan. You see that we all have the Michael Vick jerseys on. But we used to even go to games weekly, right? And as our real estate empire started to grow, my kids started to grow, right? So I was in the real estate game. She was she was moving up. She was moving up in corporate as a psychiatrist. And we were living the fairy tale dream. We were living I had the house, I had the white picket fence, we had the two dogs, we had the two kids. I mean, I literally was living the American dream. And at that particular time, we were actually what we call paper millionaires. And there was a lot of paper millionaires in real estate during that time. We owned all of these homes. I think we had about 10 homes at that time, and there was a lot of equity in those homes. When you buy a home and you buy another home, if the banks will allow you to keep grabbing homes, they had to have 65, 70% LTV. I had to have at least 30% equity in each of those homes in order for me to be able to buy them. So every time we accumulated another piece of real estate, there was equity there. And that equity started to add up, add up, add up to the point where we were actually paper millionaires. And I remember when I was adding up the equity and I was adding up my assets, minus my liabilities to see, where we were. And at that particular time, I really felt good because I thought this is actually how it's supposed to feel. Now, meanwhile, I was real estate paper rich, but we probably didn't have any more than five or $10,000 in our, that we had access to. If we had access to money, it was through lines of credit. If we had other access to money, it wasn't liquid, right? It wasn't liquid. It was just paper. It was an illusion. But I felt like this is how it's supposed to be a millionaire, right? All of my friends were accumulating properties, and I have nothing against real estate. I love real estate. I just believe that there's a different way that you should approach real estate, because what I didn't see coming was the 2008 and 2009 recession. Now, during the 2008, 2009 recession, I lost everything. I lost everything I had. Now, meanwhile, I had spent 30 years with this foundation in place, coming from, the Wakanda of Georgia, going to a historically black college, right? Getting married, right? Having kids. Kids are growing. And then in the midst of all of this, I lose everything. And if you know this about me, and I'm almost getting teary eyed right now, if you know this about me, I carry a lot of weight. I'm the type of person that's never going to say it's your fault that this happened. I'm going to always carry all the weight because that's how I was brought up. I was brought up to protect. My first job was being a lifeguard, and as a lifeguard, I was there to protect everybody around me. If I saw you in danger, I had to jump in there and save you. And I saved over 100 people's lives in my lifetime. All right. And I should offset some of the bad stuff that I've done in my life, but we're not going to go there. But I lost everything. And I know, you always talk about, when you're in it with somebody, everybody's gonna go down. But I don't count that. I don't say that my wife or my kids or my family were a part of this. I lost everything because I didn't understand the market. I didn't understand money. I didn't understand what an actual millionaire feels like. Like I didn't understand, assets versus liabilities. I just didn't understand it. I just kept accumulating properties. I just kept accumulating debt. At one point, I had three cars. I had a Porsche that I was paying for. I had a pickup truck, a Honda Ridgeline that I was paying for, and then I was also paying for a Prius that my wife was driving. I had three car notes. I had 10 properties that were not cash, right? I had 10 properties with 10 mortgages. I had lines of credit out the wazoo. And at the rate that I was going, right, I was never going to learn until I lost everything. So I always tell people that it was a blessing and a curse to lose everything in 2009, because what if it had happened when I was in my 60s or 70s or 80s, right? What if I had a medical situation and then I lost everything? How was I going to be able to overcome it? We didn't have a financial planner. I thought that we could do everything on our own. We didn't have life insurance policies. We didn't have trust. We didn't have wills in place. We didn't have any of that stuff in place when we were millionaires the first time around. All right. So, I like to tell this story because that it wasn't so long ago. We're talking about what, 12, 13, 14 years ago? All right. So where does the story start? Where does the stock story start? Well, I had to go back to my foundation. It did nah, I didn't go back to lifeguard. All right. But I went back to that foundation of protecting lives. I'm a husband. I gotta be able to help in some way. I gotta be able to protect my sons, I gotta be able to protect my family. All right. So I went back to my foundation. And because that foundation was so strong from when I was young, it was easy to be able to try to start from scratch. So I went out and I took a class. I took a class out in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's how devoted I was to learning this stock game. I didn't know one single individual back in 2007 that even owned one share of anything. True story. I knew people that had 401ks, but I'm talking about individual stock. The only stock that I knew about was Apple. I didn't even know that there were other stocks in 2007. True story. But I knew that the market was about to turn around because I would remember I was heavy in real estate back in 2007. And everybody at that time, before the real estate market crashed, we kind of knew that the market couldn't continue to go in the path that it was going. I mean, we were getting people houses that had credit scores that were like 400 and had a credit report that was 50 pages long. And they were still giving out multiple houses. We knew at some point it was going to fall. And I knew how to provide a service, but the one skill that I never learned was how to make a dollar make another dollar, right? Think about that. We all can provide a service, but how many of us can make a dollar, make a dollar, right? So I was devoted to learning this material. Devoted. So, I attended this webinar. I went online and I looked to see where it was located. And they were doing classes all over the country, right? And I had just missed the one that was in Georgia. Luckily, my wife was from Indianapolis, Indiana, and my mother-in-law lived there. And it was during the winter time. I believe it was like February, March, or April of 2007. Because I remember when I flew up there and I borrowed her car, I had to drive in like 6 or 7 inch snow just to get to the class. I paid $250 for that class. Now I'm going to tell you something. That was probably one of the best $250 that I had ever spent because what I learned in that 2-day webinar was advanced technical analysis, right? First of all, I didn't even know what a stock was. I thought I was going to go to this event and they were just going to teach me how to go and find these different stocks, how to and a lot of you guys are doing that right now. You're doing you're getting your education in a Reddit room, right? You're thinking, hey, just give me the stocks and then I'll do what I need to do with it. No, they were teaching me the technical side of the market. And I had no idea what I was about to learn, but I knew that I had to learn it because I had to make a change. And that was the best $250 that I had ever spent. And this is kind of crazy because the history of Invest Tools, because you can't find Invest Tools now. I know some of you right now are going on the internet and you're looking up Invest Tools. Nah, Invest Tools was an educational group. It was a professional education group, the best at that time. They were the best of the best that was teaching, the average person how to invest or trade in the market. And, Thinkorswim loved what they were doing so much that Thinkorswim bought out Invest Tools. And then Thinkorswim with Invest Tools as part of their products was doing so well. TD Ameritrade came along and bought out Thinkorswim, who bought out Invest Tools. Now, once they bought out Invest Tools, there was no longer $300 classes to take because what Thinkorswim was so smart at doing is they said, you know what? The money is not made through the education. The money is made through the investing side. So if we teach people how to do this for free, they're going to make more money, which therefore is going to make us more money because their accounts are going to grow. The problem that a lot of teachers and educators have right now is they don't follow this philosophy. And I said this that, I told myself that I would never, ever, 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 ever teach somebody something that not only I don't understand, but if I'm not even legitimate enough to be able to say, all right, I made $50,000. Maybe I can teach some people how to make $50,000. I don't have the ego that says, just because I'm Joel, you need to buy my course. And there's a lot of people that are out there that are like that. And I love the class so much. I was in such high spirits that on the last day, that's when a whole new crew of people came in and I didn't know who they were. And I was like, who are these extra people that are coming in? They look like the FBI, like what's going on? And when they came into the room, what did they tell us? They said, you know what? We understand that you guys were in this 2-day webinar, but what if we guys can show you something that nobody else has that's out there? We're going to teach you something that nobody even knows about. And it's an exclusive club that we're going to bring you in on. It's going to cost you some money, but believe me, if you take this course, it's going to change your lives. How many times have y'all heard that in webinars? I got this secret thing that nobody else uses that I only use. But if you take my class, I will teach it to you. It's like the number one thing that sleazy educators use on a daily basis. And I told myself I would never be that sleazy educator because I come from a foundation where, each one teach one, you know. And if you learn how to do something and you focus on the bigger picture, everything will always fall in line. And sure enough, what they did was they preyed on how I was feeling at that time. See, during this time, the market was already at its highs, right? There were people there that were already losing money in the real estate market. And they knew that they can prey on people that, that are distraught, that are down and out, that need something that they can grasp to. They know that they have a little bit of money left in their account, and and most people are just lazy. They're going to pay it because they have to pay it because there's nobody else out there that can do it. So on the last day, I was feeling so good about myself. They introduced a $10,000 course and I bought it. And you're looking right now at the 4 DVDs that these Bamas gave me for $10,000. So when I come into the room and I talk about you guys spending $5,000 and $10,000, I don't ever talk about a situation or joke about a situation if I wasn't in it myself. And I tell people that all the time. Joel, you just look down on people and you just think that you're better and you're not going to make the bad decisions. And I always say to myself, they actually don't know my story. They haven't taken the time to talk to me, right? They haven't taken the time to look at my track record or read some of my old posts or pull up stuff that I talked about in 2013 or 2014. Because then they'll realize that I'm no different than you. The only difference between me and you is that I got 10 years of experience and now I'm a millionaire, right? And what I'm trying to do is make you not follow the same mistakes that I made. So if I come in the room and I'm making fun of stuff like this, it's because, guys, there is no course out there that's worth $10,000 that's going to teach you guys what you are, what you think you're going to learn. All right? Because the biggest institutions out there that have free information, y'all don't even go out there and learn the legitimate stuff because you want to run to YouTube, you want to run to Instagram and say, if they're willing to charge this, doesn't it mean that why would they charge something like this if they didn't really make you money? It's because they're making money off the classes. If I sell 10 people a $10,000 class, I just made $100,000. Do you think I'm really going to invest if I just made 100K in a week? No, I'm not. And this is what's happening. I waited purposely to not teach you anything until I was close to being a millionaire. I don't want to make money off of education. I put in the hard work to win the championship for my family. And what I'm sharing with you is my experiences. And I don't think a lot of people get that. So when you hear me ranting and raving, it's because I don't want to be put in the position of anybody else that didn't put in the work to get to where I'm at right now. Okay. So I went and I checked out how much that $10,000 class is today. I went on eBay. You can go on eBay right now. That $10,000 class is now worth 49. If there was so much information in there that nobody had access to, why is it $49 now? Guys, because most classes are worth this much. And if you haven't figured that out yet, I'm sorry. Any educator that's watching right now, I'm sorry. Make money through investing. Quit stealing from our people. I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to charge you guys an arm and a leg because I'm who I am. Ever. And maybe that'll be my claim to fame. All right. But this class is now worth $49. And I think it's worth $50. That's how much I thought it was worth when I received the 4 DVDs. But I put in the work. I learned the options market. But I didn't learn the options market through the DVDs. All right. Because what I'm going to teach y'all on day 2 is everything I learned from these 4 DVDs. And it's probably in what we got a 3-hour session that day. That's what I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna teach you what they taught me. But where the experience comes from is you're gonna have to go out there and practice and experience the market on your own, because that's how you get to being a millionaire. Right? You take the education, you learn the foundation, you use that, you formulate a strategy, you formulate a plan. And that's how you can reach levels that you guys believe that that you can get to. All right. $49. I'm charging you guys 65. Why? Just because. I used to do it for free. Y'all know when I started charging more money, more people started to sign up, because the mentality behind most people are that if they don't charge anything for it, it must be worthless. Joel, you must be worthless. You don't attach anything to who you are. Guys, I'm a millionaire. I got 2 kids. I'm married. I've literally checked off most of the things I wanted to do in life. My next goal is 10 million. All right. So you don't have to check me on who I think I am. All right. But that's not why I'm here. That's not why I teach. That's not why I have a passion. I have a passion because I go around and I talk to my friends and we can't have a conversation about stocks. All right. I talk to other people that are struggling and they have no idea. They're taking all of these multimedia products. And I'm like, yo, you could have just bought Apple. All that $50, $100, $200, $1,000 you're spending on this stuff. You could have just bought Apple. It made money. Apple just became a $3 trillion company. It tripled in value in what, the last what, 5, 6 years? How do you not know this? You could have invested in Amazon. How do you not know this? The stock market's a casino, word. The stock market creates more millionaires than any other asset class on this earth, including real estate. How do you not know this? It's because there's no foundation in our education. What are you going to get with Webinar Week? You're going to get 10 hours of live education with me, with Joel, the millionaire, the new millionaire. All right. Not the old paper millionaire, the new millionaire. Okay. That put in the hard work, that understands assets versus liabilities. You're going to get 1 month access. People say this all the time. Joel, you just got a 3-day class. How you going to learn all of that in 3 days? You're not going to learn it all in 3 days. I'm going to give you guys the foundation for 3 days. It's a 1 month class. Now, I'm not going to walk you through it. My job is to get it low enough to get your butts in there and educate yourself, educate your friends, family, including yourself. You get 30 days access. We're going to cover stocks. We're going to cover options. I'm going to cover day trading. Why? Because everybody should have a skill at day trading. God, if you don't know how to make a dollar, make another dollar, one day, I promise you, the service that you're providing, what if that service goes away? Real estate was taken away from me and I couldn't do anything about it. I was helpless and I felt worthless because I didn't have a skill set. My only other skill set was lifeguarding. I can't provide for my family lifeguarding. Okay. I couldn't even provide money for my family through real estate. You know why? Because everybody else had lost their jobs. How are they buying real estate if they lost their jobs? I barely had one car. I'm going to show up and try to sell $1 million house. They're going to look at me like, yo, you ain't got your foundation in place. You out here fronting. All right. But I'm going to teach you guys the fundamentals, the macro view of the market on day one, foundation. We're going to get into trading the second day. And then I'm going to get into day trading the third day. But we're going to cover technicals, fundamentals. And it's going to be really, really fast. I spent a lot of time making sure that webinar week, the stuff that I'm teaching is something that I would teach myself. And I didn't hold back. I'm not going to not leave out information just so I can sell you on it somewhere else. That's not my MO. I don't have to do that. I didn't I didn't become a millionaire off of education. Okay? I educated myself. And yes, I'm creating passive income now. Maybe this can get me to 10 million, but that's not why I got in this game. All right? So if you're wondering how you can get to this point, right? How did I get to this point? It wasn't an overnight thing, right? It was step by step. I talk about $100 a day. That's literally all I had to work with when I first started, $50 every 2 weeks. And then that starts to double and triple, right? As I start getting other hustles and other jobs or what have you, you start throwing money into the stock market, right? And you start building those accounts. And then before you know it, everything becomes easy because you put in the time, right? You put in the time. You know, a lot of you guys, you got to ask yourself, how do you feel about the stock market? If you feel weary, if your stomach cringes when you talk about the stock market, it's because you're not educated on it. I don't cringe when I talk about the market. When I talk about the stock market, I light up like a light bulb because I know where it can take you. I know what it can do for people, and I don't understand why everybody doesn't have this love fest like me. Okay? I could talk about stocks all day long, because of what it's done for my family, what it's done for my confidence. Not education, the stock market. You got to ask yourself, do you treat this like a market? I mean, do you treat the market like a business? I treat the market like a business because it is a business. You're working with the top businesses in the world. It makes no sense to not understand the technical side, the fundamental side. If you're trying to make money in the market, it just doesn't make any sense. Most of you guys don't even have an investment action plan. We talk about it for a moment in the very first day. But remember, I didn't have a lot of these things in play. I thought I'm a know-it-all. I thought I knew everything until I started talking to people that actually won championships. I started to vet people. When I lost everything, I did not trust anybody. You had to show me everything about yourself if I was willing to even listen. And a lot of you guys need to do that now, right? Ask your teacher, ask your educator, what have you done? Like what's your claim to fame? Like what's your best investment you ever made? What's your best trade? What are you invested in right now? How much are you invested? Like be honest and see how that educator reacts. All right? If they start giving you excuses, you check them off. Fraud. Because 99.999% of the people that are teaching you guys are not real. Okay? I show y'all my receipts of life. What more can I do? I open myself up like a book. What more can I do? I can't. It's up to you, you know? Again, the class is what? $65? It's $65. I want you guys to start planting those money trees. Start planting those money trees. Wealth comes from investing. Trading is fun. Trading is the job that you have to buy those particular investments. Like you use the trading to invest. So many of you guys have it backwards. Okay. And my job is to try to teach you guys the foundation so that one day, you can call yourself a millionaire as well. But for now, we're going to leave it here. It's up to you to decide, what you want written. What is your story going to be? Or is your story going to be the guy that lost or the girl that lost all of this money? Had it, then lost it, and didn't know how to get it back again? That was my story for a long time until I put in the work. And I encourage people, if you're going to go out there and teach, please put in the work first on the investing and trading side. Make some legitimate money. Copy down what you've done, put it on your walls, and then start to educate because the people that are doing it backwards are leading you astray. They just are. And my job is to try to get us back on the right track, all right, of understanding how to invest in ourselves. All right. I know I've been preaching. I've been preaching. So let's get to some charts. All right. Let's get to some charts. Let's go to the comments. Let's see if there's any comments that came in. Let's see what we're talking about. All right. We got a what's up, Joe? What's going on? What's going on? Ronson said he remembered that Corvette. Man, we were like famous in Decatur just because my dad owned he owned like three vets. He owned two silver ones and a red one. So if y'all want to know where that flashiness with cars came from, it didn't come because I'm trying to stunt on y'all, right? Even though I know how to stunt, it came from the foundation that I had with my father. Like anytime I'm looking at cars, and I might get teary eyed. I think about him. Anytime I buy something, he was always the first person I would go to and talk about cars. And I don't really have anybody that I can talk about cars with. But I formed that foundation with my father, and I'm glad that we spent that time with each other because it made me a better investor trader. It just really, really did. Oh, somebody said, "Wow, really?" So I don't know. Ronson, I don't know what you were referring to, but Michelle says, "Geez." All right, we had Willetta says she's been there with the wholesaling with real estate. Look, guys, I have nothing against real estate. I love real estate. It's just that I approach real estate totally different now. Just like I approach cars. Like if I can't, like if you see me driving something, it's because I had enough money to buy it cash. I'm not driving around anything unless I can pay for it cash. And I get this all the time. Well, Joe, couldn't you just throw that $10,000 and just put it in crypto or put it into some options trade? Yeah, but at some point you still got a loan. Like when you make enough money, guys, when you talk to different millionaires, like everything is not on a line of credit. All right. Credit is just I don't want to say it's a poor man's way of getting rich, but it is, but you delay the inevitable. All right. Go ahead. If you can pay it off because it's peace of mind. It's the peace of mind of knowing I don't have to make that payment each month. Right. It's the peace of mind knowing that if somehow something happens to me, and I can't work or generate income, I don't have to worry about three car loans and four mortgages, right? Because everything should be paid off. I should have enough passive income or certain income coming in that can cover my bills. All right, it's just my way of going about the market. But if you're out there and you're doing that real estate, I don't tell people to do one or the other. I had a big argument with a guy the other week about the stock market versus real estate. And I was like, I never said I hated real estate. My background is real estate. It's just that I believe you should be doing it all. Just like traders should not be arguing with investors. Like, why are y'all arguing with each other? You should know if you don't understand why that trader is saying what they're saying, it's because you don't know how to trade. An investor, if you don't understand why that trader is so hype about buying that crypto and making money in 3 months, you don't know it's vice versa. You don't know how to invest and you don't know how to trade. But if you were doing both, you'll be able to have that conversation with both. And a lot of you guys don't. So you need to get educated. Even for you guys that have taken webinar week, sometimes you need to take it again. Y'all know I watch every webinar week over again, and I didn't create it the class. Y'all heard what I just said? I watch my own webinar week once a month just so that I know and understand the foundation that I need to continue going each month. I watch my own stuff. Every time I do a video, y'all know that 2 hours later, I watch that video again. And sometimes I learn from myself. Weird, right? It's a forever learning process. And if you want to really be a better investor trader, then you got to sometimes, go all in the way that you're educating yourself and don't believe that you know everything because I don't. All right. One of the Facebook users says, I believe iron sharpens iron. Definitely. Definitely. Michelle again said, appreciate it. Yeah, I'm an open book, right? I'm going to tell you how I got to where I got to, and I try to help you guys any way possible. I just do. If you know that about me, I will curse you out, but I'm also going to help you out, right? If you come to me for help, it's rare that I'm going to turn you down, right? It's just rare. That's just not how I was brought up. All right. Willetta said, "Your passion for teaching is everything." Well, I appreciate that. That makes me feel real good to my heart because I teach with a passion. I swam with a passion. If you ever played anything with me, spades, I'm gonna talk crap. Like everything I do, I try to go 100% at it, or go hard, or go home, go hard or go home. That's always been my motto. Another Facebook user said, "Yes, new millionaire." That's right. The new millionaire thinks differently than the old millionaire. You should always be learning how to get better. I'm pretty sure once we make $10 million, I'm going to be thinking differently from the first million that was made. And that's important too, guys, because when you set goals for yourself, it seems like it takes forever to get to that goal. And then all of a sudden, once you get there, it's easy to replicate. Apple, for example, it took 30 years for Apple to get to $1 trillion. And then all of a sudden, the next 18 months, it doubled. It went to 2 trillion. And now we're talking about 3 trillion, right? So once you break those barriers, things become a lot easier. You guys got to set that goal for yourself and get to that goal, but don't take the shortcut, right? You got to take baby steps. When you're building a house, you go one brick at a time, all right, until that foundation is in place. Someone asked, "Are we going to learn when to spot a reversal? Wait, are we going to learn when to spot when a reversal will happen beforehand?" Yeah, most definitely. To be honest, that's yeah. We're gonna cover it. We're gonna cover it through the volatility index. I don't really teach counter trending unless it's in an investment, right? I don't teach it in trading. But yeah, I'm going to give you guys the best indicators to use. I'm telling you right now, we always talk about the volatility index. The volatility index basically tells you when the reversal is going to happen. It's the number one indicator on the planet to show you that. I'm also going to show you guys the TTM trend. The TTM trend is something that I found. I argue with everybody about this. I found it a couple of years back. It's called the John Carter. The reason why I know exactly when I found it was there was a Disney film at the time that was called John Carter. And during that time, y'all saw that I have a biology degree, right? So I'm a scientist at heart. Me and Noble at the time were going through every single indicator. We were going from A to Z, and we would spend hours trying to figure out patterns, seeing if we recognize stuff. And one day I was doing some research and I saw the John Carter. And I said to myself, is this an omen? Because my sons just told me that they want to go see this movie called The John Carter. And then all of a sudden, I'm looking at a new indicator that I've never seen before called the John Carter. Right. So I investigated it. And then sure enough, it was one of the best things that had ever happened to me. I wonder if God gave me that indicator because it was so weird how there was a movie that was out at the time with the same name. So if you go back and you look when the movie came out, that's when I found the John Carter. True story. True Hollywood story. All right. Another Facebook user says, "I want to have this passion." All right, guys, investing and trading is fun once you give up the fact that you think that everything is going to zero. If you go back and you look at the last 100 years, you're going to notice a pattern, and that pattern is not down. The pattern is up. And with technology getting better and better, you got the metaverse coming. You got internet 2.0 that's already here. They're even talking about internet 3.0, right? They're thinking about, they're calling crypto internet 2.0 or the blockchain internet 2.0, but now they're talking about another internet or another crypto type internet within the metaverse and the omniverse. All of this is coming. You got electric cars coming from every company on the planet. We still ain't made our money from the cannabis market. We still have 10, 20, 30 years of money to be made just from what we have in our hands right now, and I don't see it slowing down. Okay. So you got to get educated with the market. We got another Facebook user put up the power fist. Christopher John said, "Love this group. I've been following, trying to get as much info as possible." Right. We give out a lot of free content. All right. Um, I try to go live, as much as I possibly can, so I can get you guys this information. When we created the Insider Trading Room over a decade ago, when we first started it, we kind of kept all the information to ourselves. There was only a couple of traders. It was like 10, 20 traders. It was a private room. And then as we started to feel more comfortable about trading and sharing our experiences, we started to open the door up and allow other people to come in, because I can now validate why you should listen to me, right? Right. So and now the room has what, over 25,000 people. I can imagine this room is probably going to go to about 100,000. Especially if what I'm hearing is going to happen on Facebook is going to really happen. But there's a lot of good stuff that's supposedly happening with Facebook, which is going to allow it to be like a YouTube, which is going to allow education and being able to teach a lot easier. So, we've been there in the beginning. We probably have one of the oldest rooms on Facebook. Just alone, that receipt alone gives us legitimacy. You can go back right now to 2016, 2017 and say, Joel always talk about he was talking about Tesla and Apple and Nvidia since then. Let me see if this cat is lying. All you got to do is type Joel 2017 Nvidia and look and see if I was talking about it. All right, and then call my bluff. But what you're going to find is that I was talking about a lot of these stocks that are at the top of their game right now back then. Why? Because I was putting in the work. I have a passion for it. This is what I do full time. All right. Next question says, Martin said, "Hi, Joel. I would like to attend your webinar, but I have a crazy work schedule. Now, if I purchased it, could I view it when I have time, or should I just look into some of your other classes that are on your app?" No, webinar week is recorded. Now, it does only last 30 days, right? And then it refreshes, and then there's a new webinar week. Why? Because I literally put in new content, new slides every webinar week. So I'm going to give you 30 days because I gotta put it in an educational kind of format that kind of gets you guys off of your butts so that you'll do it, right? You got 30 days. You got 30 days to watch all. Well, it's not just 3 videos. If you've taken webinar week, y'all know that I love giving out bonuses, right? So there's a bonus video, there's bonus educational videos, and then I think I put out bonus like options videos that you guys can watch from other educators that can teach you the stuff that you're not going to learn. Like, I hate teaching the Greeks because it bores me to death. So there's other YouTube links that I send to you guys so that you can get educated by people that love teaching that. But I'm still going to teach you guys the foundation. What I want you guys to take from webinar week is to write down notes. This is what you should do. You take webinar week. While you're taking each day, you write down notes. When you write down those notes, because you only spent $65, you're going to take $50. You're going to say, you know what? You know what? I want to talk to a millionaire about how to invest in the market. Let me book a consultation with Joel Harrison. So you book a consultation with me, one on one. Nobody knows about what we talk about. Y'all have never seen me out anybody in the room. It's just not what I do. It's probably because I have a psychiatrist as a wife, and I know how she treats her patients. I'm gonna treat you guys the same way. And then I'm going to listen to your goals, your aspirations. We're going to figure out how to get you to where you need to get to. And you can ask me anything about the market because you know for a fact that I have receipts that can show you that I've been investing. I have receipts that show you that I've been trading. I mean, I'm a postaholic. Y'all, every 5 posts, 4 of them are probably mine, right? That's all I'm doing all day long. Taking in information, giving it to you. Taking in information, giving it to you guys. All right. And that's what you get with me, a robotic trader that loves to do this. All right. So that's why my passion is there. But every day is recorded. And then you'll be able to take that recording and be able to watch it a gazillion times if you want to. All right. I don't care. All right. Learn the information and then tell your friends and family to also book webinar week, because if they take your email or try to, if you, I know what you guys be doing because I see how many views come in. I'm like, yo, I had 100 people watch, but now I got 10,000 views. Like, what the heck is going on? I know that you guys are showing other people. I don't care. All right, because I know that that education is getting out there to the masses, and that's what I want anyway. Right? I want people to look at the market for what the market actually is, because there aren't people teaching you price action and teaching you the fundamentals and the technicals of the market. Once you have that in place, you can trade any market, forex market, crypto market. I get people all the time that claim to be technicians, and then they ask me what's going on with Bitcoin. I'm like, pull up Bitcoin's chart. And then when you pull up Bitcoin's chart, you think that Bitcoin operates differently than Apple. And it don't. Same moving averages. Bitcoin's going to go up or down. It's going to go to its 200-day moving average. Its market cap is going to grow compared to, compared to what gold is doing. If you don't know these things, these fundamental basics, the stock market's going to be hard. So what I try to do is teach you guys one method, one way of looking at the market, very simple, so that you can go across borders. You can be trading foreign currency pairs and still use my methods. And that's what's different between the strategies and the methods that I use than, I would even say 100% of the people that are out there. You can carry over what I do to any asset classes as long as you have Yahoo Finance and TD Ameritrade. All right. I'm almost done with the questions so I can get to you guys' stocks. You got, as long as you teaching, I'm coming to class. All right. I appreciate that, Garnell. Hopefully I said your name correctly. All right. Someone asked, can the John Carter indicator be used in trading view? It sure can. Or only on Thinkorswim? Yes, you can pull up the John Carter TTM trend. I'm not sure if you can pull up the TTM squeeze. Those are the only two that I use. The TTM trend and the squeeze. I don't really use the other three. I don't see the need for them. But yes, you can pull them up on TradeView. A little bit harder. I'm not an expert in TradeView, so I'm not going to even tell you how to do it. But I've seen people come in the room with beautiful charts off of TradeView. But those are the only two places from my understanding. And the John Carter is just an indicator that you can find on the Thinkorswim platform. And the Thinkorswim platform is a platform that's offered to TD Ameritrade members. So if you want to follow along with a lot of the stuff that's going on in the room or on my Instagram, you probably want to open up a TD Ameritrade account, and it doesn't cost you anything to do it. All right. Andrea Harris said, I won't be able to make all the classes live. Will they be recorded? Yes, they will be recorded and you will be able to watch it. Now, that recording might not come until late that night. I always tell people before 9:30 a.m. the next day. All right. Once you get that recording, you'll be able to watch it a gazillion times for 30 days and then it deletes. Now, anybody that has an ultimate package with me, ultimate, if they bought an ultimate package where they bought everything that I offer, you guys get free access to webinar week. A lot of you guys didn't know that. So all you got to do is send me an email, show me a receipt, say, hey, Joel, I purchased the ultimate package. I would like to have access to the last 30 days webinar week. I'll manually register you guys in, or my niece will. Last question. I signed up. I cannot wait to learn. Well, I can't wait to teach. All right. So I don't see any stocks. Y'all just wanted to hear me talk and blab the whole time. Well, I don't see any stocks, but what I will do is I'm going to pull up my charts. So, welcome to Webinar Week. Let's talk about what happened today. All right, let's talk about what happened. So, during Webinar Week, hold on, let me change something over here. Let's change the theme. All right, let me take my. All right. So, welcome to Webinar Week. And this is the S&P 500. One of the first things that we're going to learn on day one is you're going to learn about this blue line, which is called the 200-day moving average. Anything above it is bullish. Anything that's below it is bearish. This represents the market. A lot of people don't know that. I'm giving you guys this information for free. The S&P 500 represents the 500 largest companies in America. And every single day, traders like me are going to go here. Sorry, hit the wrong button. We're going to go in here and we're going to see where we could buy it. Every single solitary webinar, we pull this up and we show you guys all the money that you've been missing out on since 2009. Okay. Now remember, I started taking, dang, it doesn't even go back far enough to show y'all when I got into, this is 2007. So in 2007, guys, this is what I was experiencing. This is what I was seeing with the market. And then in 2008, you started to see the market fall. Y'all see how I started to get, even with the stock market, I kind of know, I have a knack of knowing or feeling when certain things are about to happen. I knew the real estate market was probably about to crash, so I started teaching myself the stock market. All right. 200-day moving average, 200-day moving average. We went below the 200 moving average in 2007, 2008. This is the real estate market crash. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this, but when the real estate market started to crash, it was under George Bush. And then this African American became the first African American to ever hold the seat of presidency in the United States. Mr. Obama. All right, Mr. Barack. So during that time, the market didn't really feel comfortable with him being in office because we didn't know, right? So right around, November, when the market started to sell off. Then all of a sudden we got above the 200-day moving average. Once we got above that 200-day moving average, and this was the real estate market crash, we got a bailout sometime in June or July of March 2009. We haven't come back since. That was the beginning of this bull run. Okay. And every time we hit the 200-day moving average, it was the best time to buy the market. Someone asked earlier, are you going to show us when the reversals are going to happen? I can show you reversals just by showing you guys one little easy line. That line right there starts to go red, probably going down to the 200-day. Watch how many times I do that, right? It hits the 200-day. It breaks a trend, right? It broke this trend. It went red. It went down. Started to go back up in price. You throw another trend on there. It breaks trend. It goes red. And it goes to the 200-day moving average. I make trading and investing easy because it is easy. A lot of you guys make it harder than it actually is. It broke a trend. It went red on the John Carter. We knew where it was going, to 200-day. Y'all see how this easy method that I'm showing you guys, you could have easily made money hands over fist. All right. You break a trend. It goes red. Most of the time, we go back to the 200-day. All right. And you could have done that over and over and over again, right? Broke a trend, went red, went to the 200-day, made you money. Broke trends, went red, gone to the 200 day. So everybody knows to buy at the 200-day moving average. And the market's just been going straight up. If you had looked at that on a month chart, it would have looked like this. And it's going to make you mad when you see this. Okay? Because when you look at what the market actually did, it's going to make you say to yourself, why didn't I understand this? Well, most of the time it's because you weren't visually able to see it. You wasn't able to see this snapshot, right? Because this is what you see now. Well, Joel, this is what that just happened. Okay, let's go back to 2009. Well, I can't. I could only go 20 years back, right? But the market has always gone up, come down, gone up, come down, gone up, come down, gone up. I imagine it's going to come down and go right back up because the market is rigged to go up. The one thing that people, the smartest people in the world, I see them arguing on TV all day long. And it's amazing that the one thing they forget to talk about is the fact that the government's printing money. Like they totally forget about that, right? When you add more of something, what ends up happening? It goes up, right? If I had grits, you remember when you're making grits and you pour the grits in the pot of the boiling water, and sometimes you don't know how much grits to put in, right? The more you add to it, right, the more grits you're going to have that can overflow that pot. And I never hear the pundits talk about it. And I'm like, is this the Twilight Zone? Am I actually smarter than these people? We don't have a finite amount of money, right? Where it's just this amount and this is what we working with. So when things go wrong, this is what we working with. The market is rigged. It's rigged to go up. It's so rigged, guys, that even the S&P and the Nasdaq, they take out the companies that they feel are bad, and then they replace it with growth companies, so that the like they literally manipulate the indexes so that they will continue to go up in price. And the smartest of the smart, we all know this, but the average person doesn't. They think that there's a finite amount of money. The amount of money that we have circulating in this world right now is not the same amount of money we had 30 years ago. 30 years ago, there might only have been, I don't know, 5 or 10 trillion dollars circulating. You got 14 trillion sitting in gold right now because money is being manipulated and printed by all countries, not just the United States. Everybody's printing money and making the value of everything an illusion. So you're not going to see this come back to these prices down here, because if that happens, they got to go and burn all the money that they just created. I know how I talk about stuff and I break it down in a simple way like that. And people are like, wow, how come nobody ever explained that to me? Because most people don't know money. Most people have not had most people didn't start with, a little bit, lost it, take it to a lot of money, lost it, and then take it back up again. You start to learn the secrets of the game. You start learning little things like that, right? So let me see if you guys have any more stocks. Still no stocks. Well, somebody asked, is that the 200-day moving average or the 200-day EMA? Very, very important. It's actually the 200 SMA. Now, why is it the 200-day SMA? Y'all know it took me 4 years to realize that there were different averages. Did y'all even know? And it says daily SMA. So anytime I pull up a chart, a lot of the time, guys, you'll be able to see what chart I'm using. It'll be right here in blue or red. Okay. Um, and I'm just letting you guys know that, so that when I pull up anything, if I pull up like I don't know, the Ichimoku or the 1 minute, you'll see a lot of the stuff right there to tell you pretty much all of my dimensions, right? I'm using a simple moving average, which is a 20. so that when you see anybody teaching, go ahead and look up here and see what they're working with. And then if you got teachers that's like, I'm not going to show you anything, you got to pay me $7,000 and then I'm going to show you my indicators because I'm just not going to show it. And you got to sign an NDA. Run. Anybody that's telling you to sign some NDA off of some indicator that you can get for free, run. Run. And this is the silliness that I see on a daily basis. The silliness. All right. But the 200-day is the SMA. The only other thing that I want to add is that the SMA is not going to change. So if you use the SMA, if I pull up a day chart, this value is going to be the same. If I pull up an hour chart, the value still should be the same, right? But if I pulled up a simple moving average, right, or a EMA sometimes, even when I go from a day chart to an hour chart, this line is going to change. And a lot of people don't know that. So when you're taking down statistics and you're thinking that you just hit the 200-day moving average and you're looking at a 15-minute chart, that's because you're using a moving average that's not stagnant. A lot of people are making these mistakes. Another thing that I want you guys to start doing is the indicators that you're using. I want you to mark a certain value one day, and then 20 days from now, I want you guys to mark and see if that mark is at the same area. There's a lot of indicators out there that changes due to time. I was doing this I stopped using Bollinger Bands, for example. I know a lot of people that use it that are very successful with them. Do y'all know that Bollinger Bands change? A lot of people don't know that. You can look at one value today, and let's say I try to teach you guys on it, 6 months from now. Y'all know that value changes. Like sometimes it'll be above the band, and then 6 months later, I'll go back and look at the band and it's below it. And I'm like, yo, I know I wrote this correctly. So any indicator that I see that's not the same forever, I don't use it. Because how am I going to be able to back test something if I don't have the exact numbers? I might develop a strategy that's not sound. And that's just the scientist in me that wants to always be as close to right as possible. And this isn't against people that are using band. Some people just learned that just now, and educators that probably use it. So I want you guys to go back and double check it. But those, that's one. So I always tell people to use this thing called the standard error band, because the standard error bands don't change. So for you guys that love using Bollinger Bands, you probably want to go that route. But again, that's I'm not trying to down anybody who uses this or formulate a whole class around it. It's just my personal, it's just my personal take on a lot of these things that you guys are using. All right, so let's look at the 200-day moving. So what we're going to do, so the first day we're going to learn about, just, investing in the stock market, right? S&P 500, how big is the S&P? You know, you guys are going to start creating watch lists that look like this. These are my stock stars, right? Most people right now don't know that the spiders is worth about $400 billion, right? Just that little bit of information alone, or that the beta is 1.0. That tells you a lot about that stock. That ATR, the average true range of it being $6. Some of you guys are like, what the heck does that mean, Joel? Hey, you day trade if you're a day trader and you don't know what average true range is, there's no way you're making money. There's no way that you're a profitable trader for the last year. It's no way possible. Because how do you even know how much that stuff? Not now, unless you come to me and you say, you know what, Joel, I measure candles, right? And yesterday the candle was 7, the day before it was 6, and I went back 21 days and noticed that it averages about 6. So then when you trade it that day, you know the average. Then I'm going to clap and say, all right, that's sound. But that's not what y'all are doing. And that's what the average true range is. The average true range is going to tell you the average range of that stock every single day. How the heck are you trading something and you don't even know that? That's how I can tell who the real traders are and who the fake traders are. Just that simple little concept of how like how can you trade something and not know how far it can go? Like you're literally trading blind. All right. So it's little things like that that I teach during webinar week. Those little things that you should have learned day one if you took an invest tools class, that the average educator who overnight became a guru is not teaching y'all. All right. So 200 day, this is what's happening right now. And I'm gonna pull up a cleaner chart. Make this go away. This is where we are right now. Guys, as much as y'all feel bad about the market, how do you feel bad? We are literally 2% away from the all-time highs. And a bunch of y'all losing money. I'm like, how you lose money when you see a chart that look like this? How, Sway? How the heck did you lose money on something that went straight up? I'm gonna tell you why. You're learning from the wrong people. How are you losing when the largest company? I'm gonna show. Hold up. I'm gonna show y'all the 5 largest companies on the planet. 5 largest companies on the planet. We're gonna go to market cap. Apple is number one. How did you lose money when Apple went straight up? Apple hit an all-time high today. How did you lose money? I don't understand. Trading is so hard, y'all. I just don't understand. How? Apple went straight up. Let's pull up a month chart. How? Please explain this to me. How did you lose money on this? How? That's the largest company. The second largest company in the world, Microsoft. How did you lose money when the second largest company in the world went straight up? How? The third largest company in the world. How did you lose money in the market when the third largest company in the world went straight up? Hold up. Let me look at the fourth. Maybe it's the fourth. Maybe the fourth one lost money. The fourth largest company on the planet went straight up. The fifth largest company in the world went straight up. Okay, it gave you some pullbacks. Facebook, y'all on Facebook every day. How did you not make money? It's because you're in a Reddit room. And that's where you're getting your education from. When you literally could have just said, what's the 10 largest companies in the world? They became the largest companies in the world because investors invest in it. So if millionaires and billionaires are buying the top 5 or 6 companies on the planet and they're going up, why am I not mimicking what they're doing? It's because you're listening to thousandaires. That's why. Because making money in the market is easy. It's been easy. You know, when I show my receipts, y'all are like, oh my God. And I'm like, I don't even really feel that smart. I literally went on Google and said, what's the largest companies on the planet? I'm going to buy those. Y'all make it hard because you think that it's hard. It's not. And anybody that tells you it's hard, they're making it hard. They're trying to fool you into thinking that making this money right here was hard. It was hard riding Nvidia from $50 to $350 when Joel's been talking about it since 2017. This is when I was talking about it. I'm not going to listen to Joel. But Joel used to be a millionaire, and I'm pretty sure he got a whole bunch of other money invested in the market. I'd rather listen to my Uncle Tim. That's why you losing money. The S&P 500. How did you lose money on the S&P? It went straight up. How you lose money on Walmart? Walmart. You rather go buy some company you never heard of, some penny stock. Walmart went from $60 to $150. That's your penny stock move right there. Y'all are making trading hard because you think that there's this edge. The edge is what I'm teaching y'all now. The fundamentals are still in place. You buy great companies that's moving up. That's the easy part. The hard part is how much money do I want to make? That's the hard part. Y'all losing money. The hard part is how much money do I want to make? Dang it, should I take this 100% return or this 200% return or this 300% return? All right. Disney. Y'all couldn't buy Disney? Y'all couldn't catch this move? All right, that was pretty harsh. Netflix? Y'all be Netflixing and chilling all the time. Nike? I'm literally just going through the top 20 companies. Salesforce? Costco? PayPal? I talk about this one every day. No, Joel, I guess this is it. This is when PayPal goes to zero. PayPal is on sale. I don't even like Intel. Straight up. McDonald's? I'm going to find one that goes down, Joel. I know I am. Shopify? AMD? Target? How did y'all lose money? Investing is hard. Don't let anybody tell you it's not hard. Who are you talking to? All right, maybe Airbnb. Well, that's because Airbnb just IPO'd in December of last year. It ain't even been open for a year. I'm probably 100% sure that 5 years from now, the chart's gonna look like this. And you're gonna say, I didn't know to buy Airbnb. Investing and trading is hard. No, it's not. Y'all make it hard. General Motors. General Motors was a hard play because the stock actually had been going down. We didn't start buying General Motors until here and Ford. I stayed away from Ford for this whole time. And I got in right here. I got in right here. How did you know that there was a reversal, Joel? I didn't. Well, I did. I used the options market. All right. Cool. So if y'all not gonna give me any stocks, I'm gonna get on out of here. So webinar week starts tomorrow. All right. Webinar week starts tomorrow. Before I even get out of here, I'll show y'all some options. Some people want to know what an option is and how much money you could have made. Let's look at the spiders. Spiders was down today, so there really wasn't any money to be made. But let's look at some of my technical tools I show y'all. All right. If you were trading like me, you would have woke up this morning and at 9:30, you would have known not to buy the spiders. Oops, I ain't buying the spiders, going down. Well, I was using this other guy class that I paid 10,000 for. He was telling me if you put this thing on it, it's going to reverse and go up. Really? Let me go call all my friends on Wall Street because they said that it's going to reverse because they put some in. You think the traders on Wall Street is going to sell because it reversed because it hit some indicator? Y'all be saying the craziest stuff. You really believe that Elon Musk and all of these guys with their stocks or these mutual fund managers are going to buy something because it's reversing off of, maybe if it was the 200 day. I get it, the 200 day, 50 day, maybe 100 day. But these exotic indicators that nobody ever heard of, probably not, unless all of them got together. All right. Fundamentally, the market was selling off. Why? Because this is what I saw this morning. What does that look like for you counter trenders out there? Joel in 5 seconds was like, oh, market's going down. How did you not know that? How long did it take for me to know that the market was going down? It took me 2 seconds. Y'all make trading and investing hard. I don't. It's easy. I got up, I was like, "Ooh, market looks bad." I didn't even want to put out no indicators. I waited. I said, "Man, market's going down. See if it can turn around. If it turns around, I'll put out some more indicators that looks like it hit its ATR. Looks like it dropped about 6 points. Now it can start turning around." Right? Wait, Joe, say that again. It dropped 6 points. How did you know it was going to drop 6 points? Can you see the future? Nah, everybody knows that it was going to drop 6 points. How did you not know? How much money you spend? You came in on that third day when they were selling that $10,000 class like I did, huh? $6. You could have took 472. You could have subtracted 6. You would have got 466. So I would have thought that maybe it was going to reverse maybe around the 466 range. I don't think it quite got down there. What was the highs this morning? 470, 473. What's 473? 473 minus 5.91 puts me right around 467. Someone asked about reversals. I'm old school. I'm going to do calculations. Somewhere around there. I don't know. Look at what price we got to. Joe, how did you know that? Did you call your buddies on Wall Street? Nah, I just did some simple fundamental calculations that all us one percenters know about. That's free. That I ain't gonna charge y'all. Joe charged y'all $10,000 so that you can learn that average true range. Nobody uses that average true range. $10,000. I sell 20 of y'all. I make 200 grand. Go buy my Lambo. Not gonna do that to y'all. This is public. This is public. Unless you created your own indicator, there's no reason why you should be charging somebody money because you were there. Everybody who has made it in this market got there because somebody like me probably gave them free information. And now you're going to take that and charge other people $10,000 for it? God rest your soul. All right. 467. That was the low of the day. Now, why didn't it keep going up in price? Because fundamentally, this is what was going on. But if you wanted to know where it was going to reverse, that's easy. How everybody should know about the reversals for the day. They give it to you. It's like a cheat sheet. How come the teacher that's teaching you right now doesn't know about this? Ask them. Ask them. Where did you get educated? Where did you get educated? I got a Series 6, Series 7. They don't teach you average true range in Series 6, Series 7 class. Where did you get educated? And this is nothing against people that have Series 6 or 7 license. It's just that I argue with you guys all the time. And then y'all end up becoming my students. And I love what you're doing. Anyone that has a Series 6 or Series 7's license that's placing money and helping people generate wealth by knowing where to put them into certain, indexes and certain mutual funds, I commend you for that. You are more educated than me in that aspect of it. But you ain't learned about average true range. You ain't learned about the 200-day moving average. You ain't learned about support, resistance, and trend lines. You just didn't. Why? Because a lot of my clients are those types of individuals that will remain, that I will, I won't reveal who, those individuals are. All right. So don't get too big for yourself. All right. We all are here to learn. Right? We're all here to learn the fundamentals that you can't really find anywhere else. That's the beauty of people like myself, the average Joes, right? The average Joes, I can open my mouth and explain anything that I want to, right? I could talk about crypto. I could talk about anything. I could talk about cannabis stocks, and I don't have to really worry about that. Now, there are certain rules that everybody, have to abide by. Like I can't go live. Like a lot of you guys want me to go live so that we can all jump in a stock and then sell the stock at the same time. That's illegal. I can't do that. That's why I don't go live with live trades. I might show y'all something that I might be in thinking about getting out. So and anybody that's thinking about opening up rooms like that, you got to be careful. Like, you can't do that. That's illegal. You can't do pumping and dumping. And most of the time, you guys are doing it through penny stocks. You're going to get in trouble by the SEC. There's people monitoring our room right now, waiting for the day that Joel goes live and tell y'all to, to buy stuff. It ain't gonna happen. I ain't done it in 13 years. It ain't gonna happen. All right, because I know the rules. All right, but you can't do that. So be careful. All right. So I guess that's it with the questions. All right. Join me tomorrow. Webinar week, $65. You guys are never gonna see $65 again. I am gonna take the price up to $99. All right. Most people can afford that. Not gonna make it it's 1,000 or 2,000 or $3,000 so that I can talk to 10 people. That's not fun to me. Talking to 5 or 10 people, educating you guys on the market, a small group, and then everybody becomes wealthy, and then there's all of these other people that aren't wealthy. The more wealthy our whole community is, the better off I'm going to be. I need y'all to make money so we can grow Decatur. We can grow these schools, right? I can have more than 2 friends that own planes, right? I could have more than 4 friends that own boats. All right. And that's why I'm in this game. So I'm coming to you guys from Decatur, where it's greater. I'm out of here, and peace. Later.